We're two Americans having a baby in Germany. Let's just say, we've had some interesting experiences.
Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. I am Donnie.
And I'm Aubrey.
And we are two, almost three Americans living in Germany and sharing all of our experiences living and traveling throughout Europe. As many of you guys are already aware, we are expecting our first baby, and that explains the mustache. Because behind every good mustache, of course, is a great father. At least that's my hope. But of course, having a baby, no matter where you live, is exciting and thrilling and kind of daunting and could be a little bit scary. But whenever you are foreigners living in a foreign country and giving birth, that adds a whole nother element to the experience. So we wanted to share some of our experiences that we've had so far as Americans living in Germany and going through this process. And that is exactly what we're going to talk about today in our video. Becoming a mama. What's a hey mama?
As always, we are from a southern state in the US called Oklahoma, and we now live in the southwestern German state of Rhineland-Pfalz. So our experiences are definitely specific to these two areas. And this is our very first baby, so we don't have anything to compare it to. We're not really comparing it to an experience in the US because this is our first time. And also, this is not a how-to guide. This is just simply our observations and experiences, maybe some funny stories thrown in there of what we've been through so far in this pregnancy.
So because of all that, we want you guys to leave all of your experiences with these things in the comments below and tell us where you're from. And also, if you're not from either of these two countries, then also let us know what these things are like where you live.
One of my biggest concerns with having a baby here in Germany was the language barrier, but so far that really has been a non-issue for us. We live in an area where there's really a lot of Americans and a lot of English speakers. In Germany, people speak English pretty well as a whole, so that hasn't been something that we've run into too much.
And although we have learned German and we speak it fairly well, when it comes to pregnancy, that's a lot of very specific vocabulary and a lot of medical vocabulary that we haven't been able to learn yet. Overall, I think it's just a general kind of fear that you're gonna be in this high stress situation and you're not going to be able to understand what someone is telling you. But so we're very thankful that that hasn't really been an issue. However, we did have one experience that was kind of shocking for us. And this was whenever we had our very first meeting with our Hebamme, or our midwife, that came to our house. And she was trying to help explain the positioning of the baby. And she was telling us that the baby's head is currently turned down and is next to the mother mouth.
And we both thought, what the heck is a mother mouth? But we didn't say anything and we just continued on.
Yeah, we didn't say anything because both of us just kind of assumed like maybe that's like a nickname for something that we just don't know of, or maybe it's like, I don't know, some medical thing that for some reason, even in English, we had never heard of it and we didn't want to look stupid. And that's a terrible piece of advice. You should definitely ask for clarification. We've learned that now. But as soon as the Hebamme left our house, both of us looked at each other like, what the heck is a mother mouth? However, it wasn't until that night I was laying in bed and it dawned on me that a lot of times in German, they have these words that don't directly translate into English, but you can directly translate them and it's just not gonna make sense. So I thought, what is mother mouth in German? Well, that's Muttermund. And so I Googled Muttermund and found that Muttermund actually translates to cervix. So what I figured out is our Hebamme just literally knew Muttermund and then she just directly translated those words into English, mother mouth. However, in English, we would never, ever say mother mouth. We would always say cervix. So now we know a new German word.
So speaking of a Hebamme is a midwife in German. And in the States, the connotation of a midwife really is like an alternative way of giving birth, like maybe going to a birthing center that has midwives or having a home birth. It's not necessarily a standard practice in the States. You have to seek out a midwife. In the States, it's always a doctor otherwise that's gonna deliver your baby at a hospital.
And like, for example, I think in a lot of circles, in particular, like I remember me growing up and I heard someone saying that they were going to have a midwife that almost had kind of like hippie connotations to it. Like, why aren't you just going through the regular medical system and using like an actual medical doctor? Why don't you have this midwife coming? Even like whenever we were telling our families back home, oh, our midwife came, they kind of had this look like, what? It's like, why aren't you using the German doctors, and we had to explain that this is just an additional thing just to help us even more, and this is normal and standard in Germany to have a midwife. So it's kind of interesting bridging that gap between the two cultures and explaining to our families why we had a midwife.
And our understanding is that the midwives in Germany are very highly trained and are considered medical professionals. Midwives are always present at the hospitals whenever you're giving birth. They are helping out with the birth. Sometimes they're the ones to deliver, sometimes it's a doctor. And our insurance in Germany pays for the services of a midwife. So of course we're gonna take advantage of this awesome service. But one of my favorite things that I'm really excited about is that the midwife comes after you give birth, comes to your home and helps with your postpartum care and helping you make sure the baby and mom are transitioning well after coming home from the hospital. And we've already gotten to have a couple meetings with my midwife, but then we'll mostly get to spend time with her after the baby comes.
So we have heard from other people though that they may not use a midwife on their second or the third baby, etc. in Germany once they kind of figure out they know how things work and what to expect and what to do. So I'd be interested in knowing though from you guys, did you use a midwife whenever you gave birth, and did you use one for every child or just like the first child? As we were becoming parents ourselves, one thing that I thought of is the confusion we often experience when it comes to Mother's and Father's Day. When we first moved here, we started seeing things popping up for Father's Day in April and in May in Germany, and we started panicking about what we were going to do for our fathers until we realized that Father's Day in Germany and the US are celebrated on completely different days. For Germany, they celebrate Father's Day on the Thursday 40 days after Easter, so Ascension Day, but in the US, it is celebrated on the third Sunday in June.
Which isn't fair because that means Donnie will get 2 Father's Days and I will only get 1 day to be celebrated because Germany and the US both celebrate Mother's Day on the second Sunday in May every year.
But this year it's looking like I'm going to miss Germany's Father's Day, but I will get to celebrate American Father's Day. And even though you won't be celebrating until next year, that's kind of good for me because I'm not great at picking out gifts. So that means I have another year to think about what I'm gonna be getting you for your first Mother's Day.
Well, that's not fair. But you do need to remember that you're gonna have to get a gift for your mom and for my mom because Mother's Day is literally next weekend.
Dang it. I forgot about that, but I just never know like what to get. Oh,
Want some help picking out the perfect Mother's Day gift? Check out Ana Luisa.
Okay, but seriously,
Go ahead, look it up.
When did you put my laptop here?
There is a link to Ana Luisa's website in the description of this video, and you can see just how beautiful and high quality their jewelry is, like the ones I'm currently wearing. They have gorgeous 14 karat gold and silver jewelry, among others, that I know all mothers would love.
And I really can't complain about their prices either, because they certainly are extremely affordable. What? How do you keep doing that?
Ana Luisa's pieces are great because they can be worn on a daily basis and look great, but they can also be dressed up for fancier occasions.
So I shouldn't send my mom this macaroni necklace?
Mothers are special, and we need to show them we know them better than they think we do by getting them something they will actually love.
Okay.
But if you don't know exactly what to get, you can't go wrong with any of Ana Luisa's pieces. But I know those special women out there will also love a gift card so they can pick something special out for themselves.
You should also tell our viewers to act now because Ana Luisa is having a Mother's Day sale where they can buy one and get one 40% off.
You just did.
Oh, right. Real quick, guys, I want to give a huge shout out to our patrons over on Patreon for supporting our channel. And if you guys would like to know ways that you can further support us, I will leave a link in the description to our Patreon page. But also, if you guys would just hit those like and subscribe buttons, that goes a really, really long way in supporting our channel, and I would really appreciate you doing that. But with that being said, let's get back to the video. Of course, when you're pregnant, one of the biggest questions that people have is what kind of paternity or maternity leave you will have after you give birth or before to be able to take care of yourself and that newborn baby. And this is something that is a big difference between the US and Germany. And it also is really a big difference even just within the US of what your experience is going to be. Just for example, one reason why we have never really talked about healthcare on our channel is because we don't really come from a good area of experience to be able to speak on this. For example, the company that I worked at gave all of its employees really good medical care. And even when I was leaving that company, the company actually took care of 100% of all medical costs for the employees. So we're not really used to the normal kind of idea of what American healthcare systems are and how poor a lot of Europeans think it is. And when it comes to maternity or paternity leave, this also can vary from the company that you work for. So in the US, you're legally protected to have up to 12 weeks of maternity or paternity leave as long as you have a qualified job, but that is unpaid time off. That is just to basically protect your job so that you can go back to work once you're done with your maternity or paternity leave. But but some companies do offer paid maternity or paternity leave. So I have seen some of my friends on Facebook talking about how they had to save up just to take 2 or 3 weeks of unpaid maternity leave, whereas some other people may be working for a company where they are actually paid to take that leave. It just is very wide-ranging differences in the US.
But in Germany, you are legally given 14 weeks of maternity leave, 6 weeks before your due date and 8 weeks after, and you can get more if you have any kind of medical complications. So like Donnie said, we did both come from jobs that had pretty good parental care, but even with that, we were pretty excited about the maternity leave that I'm gonna get here in Germany. And we've learned that we can even apply for a couple of years off and get a portion of our salaries paid to us by the German government. So we're still looking into all of that, but that sounds pretty great to us.
So this is overall something that we are really excited about, the way that Germany handles parental leave before and after, so that we can have that time adjusting to family life, and the emphasis that puts on the care for the family. I also want to let you guys know about the YouTube channel Simple Germany. This is a YouTube channel that really goes through the how-tos of living in Germany, and they have great information on Elterngeld, Elternzeit, overall having a baby in Germany and what you're entitled to. So go check out their channel if you are watching this video looking for information about giving birth in Germany, because they have a lot of great resources that even we have used.
So in the US, when you tell someone you're pregnant, they usually get really, really excited and then start asking lots of questions like, when are you due? Do you know if it's a boy or a girl? Do you have names picked out, etc. This has definitely been our experience with Americans over here that we've told that we're pregnant, and family back home, of course. And I really love this because I'm someone who loves to celebrate and I like getting excited. So I've really enjoyed talking to Americans about being pregnant.
Now this is a little bit different from some of our experiences telling Germans. And I will say that I watched a video by Don't Trust the Rabbit. It was an older video on her channel where she talked about her experience giving birth in Germany as a German, and she mentioned this topic, and it wasn't something that really clicked with me until I saw her video and her talking about the way that Germans typically react to pregnancy announcements, and suddenly I realized it was some of the experiences that we had, but I had just justified the experiences. And that is that Germans don't always get overly excited, and in fact, sometimes they're very subdued. They're a little more flat with their reactions, and we even had some that reacted by saying toy, 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 which is kind of like saying knock on wood or good luck or break a leg, just kind of hoping that everything goes well rather than, oh, that's so exciting. And most of those reactions have been with a little bit of an older generation, so I'm kind of wondering if there's a generational difference with Germans now, because younger Germans that we've told, they have had a little bit more of like, I guess, an American reaction. And also in their reactions, they don't do like what we said Americans do, where they ask the name or the gender or anything like that beforehand in most cases, which almost to an American, it kind of feels like they're not invested or interested. But for them, it kind of comes from a little bit of a superstitious thing in Germany where you just don't ask those things before the baby comes.
Another big, fun, and exciting thing that happens leading up to having a baby in the US is having a baby shower. This is a party typically thrown by friends and family where they celebrate the new baby coming into the world and can help provide the new parents with all of the things they're gonna need to have a baby. Traditionally, this is thrown by and attended by women that are important to the new mom, but this can vary. Sometimes the husband comes too, and sometimes men come as well.
And so with this being such an important part of American pregnancy culture, we were kind of, excited and nervous about how this would work with us being all the way over here and so far away from all of our family and friends back home. However, we are lucky to be surrounded by a lot of really great people who wanted to make sure that Aubrey had this baby shower experience, but this brought some interesting cultural differences as we discussed this with some of our German friends. For example, we had some German friends who told us that baby showers are not a traditional German thing at all. However, they also told us though that this is becoming more and more of a German tradition as they adopt this from, say, like the US, and they are starting to have baby showers. However, then some others told us that Germans do have baby showers, but it is typically a thing after the birth, and it kind of goes along with the same thing like birthdays, where Germans will not wish happy birthdays or celebrate birthdays before the actual birth date. They do the same thing with baby showers. They don't actually celebrate until the baby actually comes. It's kind of a tempting fate thing, or also a why would you celebrate something that hasn't happened yet. The one positive thing that I do see about doing a baby shower afterwards is that it also acts as a time where people get to come and meet the baby for the first time. That's the thing with baby showers before. There's no baby there yet, so people don't get to see the baby. But my question with doing a baby shower after the birth is, how does that work? Do the parents have to get everything that they need in order themselves so that when the baby comes, they are prepared? Or do they kind of have things that they are just gonna have to wait for and not be prepared until the baby shower afterwards when people can bring them these gifts. So with these differences and with the conflicting different perspectives that we've gotten even from our German friends, I would be interested in knowing even more perspectives and experiences that you guys have had with baby showers. So leave in the comments below, did you have a baby shower? Was it before or after? Were there gifts there, or do the parents take care of everything themselves? Don't forget to use the link in the description of our video to check out Ana Luisa's Mother's Day sale and get the special women in your life something special. Ow! To see who made it this far into the video, the random question of the week is, what's the best food item to grill? Thanks so much for watching, guys. Be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, and we will see you in our next video.
Cheers! As always, we... Take it away.
That was 3 words in it. That's a month.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What just happened to you?
My chair got stuck and I almost fell. So I don't feel like I have a great... I don't come from a great So I don't come from a great position to be able to speak